This is Robin Bullock on the right, Steve Schultz on the left. These two people are, God, what do I even say about them? They're right-wing Trump nutcases, do anything for the guy. And they're about to talk about how much they love Elon Musk and how this is the end of days and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's so entertaining. I'm sorry. Let's give this a listen, see what they have to say for themselves. While we listen, we're going to play some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just be in the background.
See, that's what happened during COVID. It was all a plan. People were put.
Dude, it is so out of sync. It's crazy.
It could just be something in the air from between here and there.
What? Do you know what the heck you're talking about?
Yeah, could be.
But if it's too annoying.
Yeah, it could be too foggy out. So there's a 3-second delay on my live stream. Totally.
Be honest with you, I'm looking at it on my monitor and it's still that way.
Oh, then it's him. Yeah, it's Robin Bullock. He needs to restart his computer probably. Whatever.
Yeah.
But after you're behind doors locked on controlled videos, controlled news feeds, controlled everything.
Dude, this is like 3 seconds behind. Wow, that's bad.
Even, YouTube controlled the feed. You couldn't say certain things. You couldn't do certain things.
Dude, I don't know what he's talking about. You mean you couldn't threaten death on people? Yeah, that's against the rules of YouTube.
Everything was kind of controlled. You had curfews in towns. Dude,
what are you talking about? What's he going on about right now? Curfews in towns.
Was just like World War II in Hitler's day. They were locking people down.
Oh my God, dude. What is he? I gotta know what he's going on about right now.
This is what I think has happened. I really believe, and I'm just going to say this now.
Please, just say it.
We have entered the final stretch, the final time. Elon Musk said something the other day at that rally in Butler. And, when you have that kind of money and you're worth that kind of wealth, it comes with knowledge.
It does? That kind of money comes with knowledge?
Well, Robin, your sound's good. Why don't we just go? Because we're hearing your voice. We just won't try to follow your lips when you do it. You got good stuff to say here.
That's going to be tough. Yeah, that's going to be a little tough.
Yeah, we're just not going to look at him. I think I can handle that.
But
I mean,
I'll do whatever I can.
Well, guys, do you have any other suggestions? Paul, Michael, anything? I'm just looking for notes here.
John don't hear either. So.
So all I want to know, guys, is we just keep going here.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think my audio is equalized now.
Yeah. They said it wasn't either one of ours.
Okay, let me ask.
No, it's Robin's. It's Robin's system, I believe.
Do this, guys. What if we turn your video off and we just listen to you so it's not distracting? That's an idea. I don't know. I'm looking for somebody.
We could try it. Yeah, okay. We could do that.
You know what? There's just saying keep going. So, Robin, let's just keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe it'll catch up in a minute. But anyway, what was we talking about?
You were talking about warfare, which is really, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Well, warfare is in the realm of choice. That's where it's at.
I don't know what the that means.
People don't realize that. It's all in the realm of choice. And Adam had, when Satan figured that out, then he had to get Adam to make a choice.
Okay, it was not Satan, all right? Satan was not the snake. It was a literal snake. It doesn't say it was Satan. It says snake, very specifically.
Just like he does anyone. He has to get them to make a choice because it's all in the realm of choice. And we've come down to that time. Where we've entered into is the time of the weighing. We've entered.
What the hell does that mean?
Entered into the time of the scales, the time of choice. When Benjamin Netanyahu held up the blessing and the curse in his hand.
He did what? What are you talking about? Held up the blessing and the curse in his hand. What does that mean? I got to look this up. Netanyahu holds up blessing and curse. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I see. Wow. Let me see if I can pull up a picture for you guys. Hold on. Here you go. The blessing and the curse. It's two pictures. It's a picture of his allies, I guess, and his enemies. Syria, Iraq, and Iran are his enemies. Egypt, what is this one? I don't know what this one is. Sudan, Saudi Arabia, and India are the blessing. So I'm not sure is he just applying religious language to countries and saying one is evil and one isn't. I guess that's what he's doing here. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, let's continue.
He brought that time into the nation's voice. When Benjamin Netanyahu held up the blessing and the curse in his hand, he brought that time into the nations. He brought it here.
I don't know what that means.
And you're seeing people choose right now, Steve. You're seeing France. France made a choice. And I gave a prophetic word a few weeks before. No. It was way before, a few weeks before that, where the Lord said, I'm not pleased with you, France. I'm not pleased with what you're doing. And when
Okay, I don't remember that, but I love everything about it. I so want to know where he said that now.
went on and on about it, and then they turned on Israel. And they said, we're still their friend, but let's do an arms embargo where they don't have any weapons to fight with. Well, that don't sound.
Actually, that's a fantastic idea. Defensive stuff only, yes. Give them defensive things only. I love everything about that. Why are we giving them AR-15s or M16s or whatever, and all this equipment to fight with, to kill people with? Why do they need that? They should be defending themselves only, right? I don't understand. It's just wrong and horrific and evil and disgusting, and I really want to see an end to all of this fighting. And it's not going to end until Israel chooses to end it, or they can't fight anymore, one or the other. Because they don't have like the weapons to fight anymore. It's only defensive. Personally, if it were me, I know that I'm not a general. I've never even been in the military, so I'm just talking out my ass right now. I have no idea how it works. But in an ideal world, if this would work, I would want to set up a system where Israel has no weapons at all, zero. And I send troops to the 1967 borders and defend those borders, those lines. Israel has police, I suppose. Yeah, they can have police, I guess. But they've proven that they're incapable of acting rationally or using weaponry, what's the word? Using it safely or honestly or with discretion. They've proven they don't know how to do that, in my opinion, over the past 50, 75 years, since 1947. So I want to see Israel completely stripped of all of that stuff at this point, because they cannot manage to be normal military members without like going nuts and killing a bunch of people. So yeah, not okay no matter who's committing the genocide. Never okay.
Sound like a friend to me, So anyway, I'm going to say something that's going to be heavy, and I don't
Please say it.
think the enemy wants it told. So that's my cue to tell it anyway.
Right, okay. And who's the enemy? Am I the enemy?
Good.
And I hope this is not too distracting.
No, it's fine. I probably will interrupt you less, because if there's too big of a gap, by the time my question gets to you, it'll be so I'm just going to be more quiet than usual and let you go for it. It's really good though.
Mm-hmm. This is what I think has happened. I really believe, and I'm just going to say this now.
I thought he already said he was going to say it. Yes, get it out, please.
We have entered the final stretch, the final time. Elon Musk said something the other day at that rally in Butler. And, when you have that kind of money and you're worth that kind of wealth, it comes with knowledge.
It does? It comes with knowledge? Okay. What kind of knowledge, I wonder?
It comes with privilege. And
well, that one I can agree with.
What I mean by that is it comes with more. You know more about what's going on. You know more about what's going on behind the scenes.
What, you mean you're presented with an opportunity to bribe people? Is that what he's saying? I suppose that's true enough. But, there are a lot of people that are very wealthy who don't know how to bribe people because they've never bribed people.
People confide in you. People talk to you. And to be honest with you, Elon Musk could take the billionaires on the WEF panel.
Oh, my God, dude. This is all back to the Great Reset conspiracy theory. The World Economic Forum, WEF, if you guys are unaware, just 30-second explanation. It's just a an international organization that puts money to where it's most needed. Like if there's a polio outbreak in South Africa or something, then they will tell these billionaires that they need $50 million to produce polio vaccines and distribute them. And, Bill Gates and whoever else, what other, George Soros and stuff, they'll get together and they will contribute the $50 million and it will stop a polio outbreak in wherever. It's a really honest, honorable, good idea. And every year they honor billionaires who have helped them or billionaires that they're trying to pull in to help. Like they honored Elon Musk one year forever ago. It was like years and years ago before he was a complete nutcase or before he was public about being a complete nutcase. I don't think he actually showed up, but they did request his presence just to, show honor to him or whatever. Anyway, that's what the World Economic Forum does. And a conspiracy was born when they said there's an opportunity to reset the world's economies with COVID to be more beneficial to the working poor, basically. And suddenly, just like that, a conspiracy is born. Like, who the fuck was paying attention to the WEF? I didn't even know they existed until they said, let's help the poor. Let's reset economies to make them more beneficial to the poor. And just like that, seemingly out of nowhere, we've got gigantic conspiracies about them trying to control blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, yeah, so that's what the WEF is. And Elon Musk didn't actually show up to the WEF, probably because he didn't want to donate any money. And he uses that as like a feather in his cap now. So let's listen to what he says about the WEF here. Fellas, is it gay to care about the working class? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's getting a little out of control, that whole is it gay thing. Like, people are asking if it's gay to do the most ridiculous shit. Oh, my God, dude.
Privilege. And what I mean by that is it comes with more. You know more about what's going on. You know more about what's going on behind the scenes. People confide in you. People talk to you. And to be honest with you, Elon Musk could take the billionaires on the WEF panel and probably buy and sell them and not miss the change. And
probably, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. But he would miss the change because that isn't all just money that he owns. It's not just money in his pocket. That is all money that's like invested in stocks and stuff. So he would most definitely feel that was missing because once he cashes that money out, that's what it is forever. It will always be $350 billion. No matter how high inflation goes, no matter how much the economy tanks, he will stop growing his income. So he doesn't want to transfer his money into anything, obviously. That's just kind of how it works. That's why Trump supposedly has like billions of dollars, but he doesn't actually have billions. He was ordered to pay $500 million to that woman, E. Jean Carroll, for defamation. He has to sell a bunch of his properties and shit for that. He can't just pull that out of the bank.
And so he was standing in Butler, and this is what he said. He said, either we win this one or you won't ever get a chance to have another one.
Who said? Elon Musk said that? I don't remember that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, he was standing in Butler, and this is what he said. He said, either we win this one or you won't ever get a chance to have another one. Now, what did he know? What does he know?
He knows that it's really easy to manipulate poor fools like this guy. That's what he knows.
That the average person don't know. I've been saying it for the last few years. I said, we either win this one or you won't have another opportunity to vote. It's going to change.
God, these people are such jokes, man. I'm sorry.
See, Steve, everything changed. And I was so glad to see the thing that you and Julie were showing. And I think about people making a stand because everything, they don't realize that it changed. See, have you ever played a game when you were growing up called In Plain Sight, where you
never heard of it.
Take an object and you have everybody leave the room. And then you take this object and you put it in the room somewhere in plain sight. Then everybody has to come back in after a while and see who can find it. And it's just sitting in plain sight. And you would be amazed how hard it is to find that object because you were out of the room for a while. And
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
And you forgot the room. And when you come back in, you don't notice it. Something's changed, but you don't know what it is. See, that's what happened during COVID. It was all a plan. People were put behind doors.
Brother, what? Are you shitting me? I only have replacement cards. That is really frustrating.
But you don't know what it is. See, that's what happened during COVID. It was all a plan. People were put behind doors. But after you're behind doors, locked on controlled videos, controlled news feeds, controlled everything. Even, YouTube controlled the feed. You couldn't say certain things. You couldn't do certain things.
I don't know what he's talking about specifically, like which specific event, but YouTube has always had a terms of service, and the terms of service bans people from basically spreading certain types of disinformation, like vaccine disinformation is banned, for example, which I'm all for. That should be the case. You should not be able to just spread disinformation that will literally get people killed. That should be against their terms of service, absolutely. Either way, I'm not sure what the hell he's going on about right now, which specific thing.
Everything was kind of controlled. You had curfews in towns.
What's he talking about? Curfews in towns? Like what? I mean, I get like when there's a serious event happening, like a riot or some crazy shit going on. Yeah, there are curfews for certain nights. Like January 6th, there's a curfew that night in DC to like prevent people from whatever. What's his point here? I don't understand.
It was just like World War II in Hitler's day.
What was just like that? What's he talking about? What was like World War II in Hitler's day?
Were locking people down, but they kept them behind closed doors for a month, 2 months, however long it may have been.
I think he's talking about January 6th. It wasn't like it was not like World War II in Hitler's day. It was not like that. I'm assuming he's talking about January 6th, so I'll just run with that one. Hitler, like Germany under Hitler was so deeply disturbing and messed up. It was like, what are you supposed to, like, you couldn't answer your phone, hello. You had to answer your phone, Heil Hitler, because people were listening. Because they tapped others' phones. I mean, real psychotic shit. You couldn't do anything for fear that, they would find out. The Gestapo would find out, and they would take you to prison. It was real disturbing stuff. It was not like World War II Hitler, like Nazi Germany or whatever.
Months, and then suddenly they rearrange everything out here and then turn you back out. Well, the world looks the same, but you really don't remember exactly what was going on. And so the changes are made and you don't know it. You don't even recognize it until you start trying to buy, sell, do.
Oh my God, dude, please.
Do certain things. It's not like it used to be.
This is so stupid. This is all Book of Revelation nonsense.
And so they developed a new normal. It's a new normal, and you're in it, and you walked into a new world. This is what Harari talks about when he says it'll be like a screen just pulled down and everything changes. All they have to do is keep you away from reality for a while, turn you back into it, and everything has changed and you don't know it. You don't know where it's at. You know it's different when you try to live day to day. And now it's not the normal you always knew. And the Lord had given me a word back in 2020, I think.
In 20, okay.
It was, he said, everything will change. And I kept saying this, Steve, back then. Every time I'd walk up to a podium, I would say,
you mean a lectern?
Everything you know is about to change. Now, this was before COVID.
Any 5 minutes now. Yeah, I bet it was before COVID. He said it was in 2020, right? So he's saying it was like, what, January?
And I said, everything you know is about to change. And then I said, it will never go back to the way it was. And I'd walk off. And even I would ask, what does that mean?
Wow.
I didn't know, but I'd say it again. Everything you know is about to change.
My God, this dude is such a joke.
And it'll never go back to the way it was.
Spoiler alert, every single prophecy that he has laid down has been wrong. It's been wrong. I don't know of any that he's gotten right, actually, that weren't just vague hand waves, like, or 50-50 flips, like claiming that Trump would win in 2020, for example. It's just like a 50-50 flip. We didn't know what was going to happen that day. And he prophesied that Trump would win in 2020. And of course, he's wrong. So the point is, I don't know of any specific prophecies that he's actually gotten right. Literally zero, to my recollection.
And then the day the Lord told me, and I'm standing on the stage, and I looked around. Now, in 2016, and I'm headed somewhere with this.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
In 2016, he told me this. And you can find it on old 11th hour intros where I said it. We didn't even have a video of it then. We just had audio, but it had the date on it. And we said, there's coming a sickness into the earth, and it will make the earth tremble. This was in 2016. That it will make the earth, I think it was 16, tremble. And I said, it will be a harvest for the children of the wicked one. And so anyway, then in 2019, I start talking about things are going to change. It'll never go back. And then on April the 30th, 2019, I looked around on the stage and I said, there's a sickness coming in the earth, a plague. I said, I don't know what to call it.
Okay, then you told us nothing is what you're saying then. A plague is coming, I don't know what to call it. Did you add any information to anything at all? Plagues come and go all the time, like every 100 years at least. And honestly, more often than that. The flu could have come and he said, see, I was right. This is what it's all about.
I said, I don't know. And you can find it online. It's very easy to find. I said, I don't know what to call it. I said, I'd never heard the word pandemic that I knew.
You had never heard the word pandemic before? Isn't there a blockbuster movie called Pandemic? How have you not heard that word before? If it wasn't that, he'd point to swine flu, a bad flu, or the left wing. Yeah, absolutely. There's a pandemic. And if there was no pandemic, as you said, he would just say, there's a pandemic of wokeism sweeping across the country. That's what God meant when he told me there was a pandemic. And suddenly he'd remember that he did hear the word, in fact. Oh my God, dude, please get help, man. This is what happens when we don't promote mental health in a society.
And Robin looked at me and said, an epidemic.
Oh, yeah, his wife is Robin. They're both Robin Bullock. It's funny.
Maybe. I said, yes, maybe an epidemic. I said, but it's like a pestilence, a plague, and it's coming.
You see this cactus here, up here, this cactus in the game? Well, I don't think it's this specific kind of cactus, but there is one like it. It's called a barrel cactus, I believe. It's just a big, round, flat thing. And yeah, kind of interesting.
And unscrupulous men will take advantage of it. And I said,
as if unscrupulous men don't take advantage of everything, really?
That it's going to be international. Well,
that's what pandemic means. Yep.
Then all of a sudden it hit. And when it hit, things changed, and it's never went back to the way it was. Mm-hmm. You don't even buy automobiles the way you used to.
Yes, you do.
Nothing is the same. And they changed that on purpose. That was changed. And it was like a screen pulled down. And now everybody defines their life by before COVID and after COVID, before the shutdown and after the shutdown.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a pretty consequential moment in human history, right?
Have you ever noticed that? Yeah. It's all defined. It's like Satan's BC and AD.
Oh my God, dude. Because people's lives were upended by a pandemic, it is just like Satan. Get help, really. This is too much, man.
He tried to split time with the seed of the serpent, with before the shutdown, after the shutdown. And now everything has changed. Well, now things are not done the same way. So they start talking. Satan has put this together. It's taken him a long time to set this up. But we've come right up to within less than 30 days of seeing it change forever if we don't do something. We've got to stand and speak is what we have to do. We have to speak. I'm not talking about going out and trying to fight and all this stuff.
He's not. I hope not, but he has talked about that kind of thing before, so.
I mean, speak. Pastors have to speak. Churches have to speak. The body of Christ has to talk.
Dude, he is such a joke.
You can't be willing to be silent in this time, because what's happening is see, there's two kinds of traitors. There's the Judas that goes behind the scenes and speaks. France did that to Israel.
Okay, yeah, I guess what he's talking about is supposedly France said that we should cut down on the number of offensive weapons we're providing to Israel. I'm not exactly sure. I'm all for that. Yes, I love that. That's fantastic.
They start talking and sell out. They sell out. And you find out they were never Israel's friend to start with.
Oh my God.
Not the government. The people may be, but the government's not. Then you find behind the scenes, Biden and all that administration, we support Israel's right to defense, but we won't help them in their war.
Yeah, because it's ugly, disgusting, and horrific. It's a genocide. It's not a war. It's a genocide. And people are saying they're willing to help defensively, not offensively. That's what that means.
Other than just to defend them.
He realizes that. Yeah, of course we don't want to aid them in murdering innocent people. Are you shitting me?
Well, it's the same way.
Yeah, Emily Neptune points out, Robin, you only support Israel because you want the world to end. Exactly. That's what it's about. He's looking for an opportunity to spark Armageddon. He doesn't give a shit about the Jewish people. In fact, I would bet money that he would rather they not be around at all if they weren't an important, like an integral part of the end time stuff. Jesus, dude.
We support.
By the way, Emily Neptune, welcome. Glad to see you.
Support Israel's right to defense, but we won't help them in their war, other than just to defend them. Well, it's the same way with speaking in this time. The worst traitor of all is those that are silent.
Mm-hmm.
Silence becomes betrayal after a while.
Okay. Silence on the war in Israel is what he's saying?
Do you know what caused the fall of man, Steve? What caused the whole fall of man was Adam's silence.
No, it wasn't. It was a snake tricking Eve. Had nothing to do with Adam's silence. By the time Adam came around, it was already over.
If you go back and look, the woman and the serpent was having this conversation. And when he got her to take of that fruit and eat, the scripture said in Genesis 3 that she turned to her husband with her, and he did eat. He was standing there the whole time.
Okay, wait a minute. He was standing there the whole time. I don't remember that part of the story.
The scripture said in Genesis 3 that she turned to her husband with her, and he did eat.
Yeah, he wasn't standing there the whole time. That's a bit of a logical leap. He walked up and saw what she was doing and freaked out, right?
He was standing there the whole time.
You're hearing this guy on the left huffing and puffing. He's so upset that Adam didn't say anything in that moment. I wouldn't have to suffer if it weren't for him. Oh my God. So stupid.
With his mouth shut, he could have spoke up. The Bible said she was deceived, but he was not. He could have spoke up and stopped the fall of man the whole time. But silence is the worst betrayal of all.
Mm.
And that's where we are. Do you know that only 51% of the church is even planning on voting?
Oh my God, dude.
Only 51% of the body of Christ is going to vote.
Yeah.
So 49% is silent. Now, what is that?
That's people not being absolute nutcases over things. That's possible, you know. People can not be as deeply involved in this stuff as you. But you know, I don't hold anything against people who don't vote because they're not paying any attention. I want to bring attention to it so that they're aware of what's happening. I take issue with people who are intentionally not voting because they don't want to vote, because they don't like Kamala or Trump or whatever.
1% of the body of Christ is going to vote.
Yeah.
So 49% is silent. Now, what is that? That is called an emissary of hell. That's all that's called.
What? And what does that mean? So only 49% of members of the church are going to vote, which is roughly on par with general turnout numbers in the United States anyway, right? Isn't it like around 49% of voters take part? Yeah, okay, about 2/3, 66% of voting eligible population turned out for the 2020 election, for example. I don't know if his numbers are correct, but it's, it's in that ballpark. It's within an order of magnitude, seems to me. And he's saying that that's an emissary of hell, that they don't vote. Really? Okay.
That's called betrayal. It's called betraying a nation that absolutely was founded on the Word of God.
Get help, bro.
And that's what it's called. And we see Israel at war, the church is at war, everything's on the verge of changing, and the church is going to be silent.
The church isn't silent. Some people just aren't complete nutcases. There's a difference between being silent and being a normal human being who's not as involved in politics as others. Like, oh my God, bro.
So where does that leave us?
I mean, Robin, I know we have this delay, so I'll get this question in, but I mean, it's discouraging because you can't get a hold of someone and shake them loose. I don't know.
I know. I feel the same way. You can't get a hold of someone and shake them. If I could just communicate to somebody, God, I want to get through their thick skulls that you got to stop voting for Trump. Please, I'm begging you, you nutcases. But it's an uphill battle. It's like trying to pull teeth to get people to understand. On the other hand, here's this guy complaining that he can't get through to me. Isn't that wild? Like, what the?
We're doing what we can, of course. You and me are doing what we can. But
we are.
What is the solution? Because we see brothers and sisters who I talked to someone a week or two ago, and he said, I don't care. I don't care anymore. And I'm thinking, how can you not care? He's a believer.
Well, I'm sure he cares, this guy. He just doesn't want to hear this shit anymore. He is so done listening to this shit out of you. That's my guess at what's happening. I have to be perfectly honest.
So,
well, that's the point. They don't care. And see, that was Satan's plan the whole time. Do you know why? Do you know why Christians die?
Tell me why, Robin. Why do Christians die?
It's because Satan wore them out. He wore them down until their resistance was gone. And
Christians die because Satan wears down their resistance. Is that what he's saying? Alrighty.
And he knows we're people, and we get older and we get tired. And after a while, but see, he's a spirit being. There's no fatigue in him. And the scripture says he seeks to wear out the saints. He strikes.
And of course, Robin Bullock is a saint, right?
Strikes, nonstop, constant, nonstop, constantly.
Did he just come up with a new word, constop?
He does. And he seeks to wear you down until you say, well, I don't care. I don't care. Let me tell you where the solution is.
Now, I'll tell you what's really happening. I'd be willing to bet what happened with what he's describing. I saw a video recently of a guy. It was an American tourist with his wife. I think he was maybe I don't know where he was. He was in some European country. Dude with a camera walks up and he says, do you want to give us your opinion on what's happening in Gaza right now? And the guy said, nope. He said, you don't want to give us your opinion. You don't want to tell me about this genocide that's happening. Do you support Israel? Are you a Zionist? And the guy said, no, I'm not a Zionist. The dude just want to be left alone. Okay, it wasn't about supporting somebody or not or whatever. This is not the context for this, okay? The dude just wanted to hang out with his wife and be a tourist somewhere. Sometimes people just want to do their thing. And you don't have to cram this down their throat 24/7. Oh my God, dude. Know when to shut your mouth. This guy, Robin Bullock, doesn't seem to understand, doesn't seem to be able to get a grip on this.
Here's the solution. I'm just going to speak to you as a prophet.
Yeah.
I'm just going to speak to you as a prophet. Oh, my God.
I didn't know you wanted me to tell that. You stopped me a couple times. You want me to say that?
Are you really? Is he pretending to hear God's voice right now? Is that what he's doing? One more time. Dude, I love this. I've got to record this. This is hilarious. All right, let me just step back and we'll let the whole thing play so I can clip it out when I record. Or when I edit, I mean.
Until you say, well, I don't care. I don't care. Let me tell you where the solution is. Here's the solution. I'm just going to speak to you as a prophet.
Yeah.
I didn't know you wanted me to tell that. You stopped me a couple times. You want me to say that? We are right here
This is so painfully stupid. I just wrote this clip down too. I'm gonna pull this later. I wrote Robin Bullock's gonna speak as a prophet, pretends God is speaking to him. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
Let's just say for right here where I'm sitting, right here beside my head, picture a thin veil like. It's very thin, and you can see through
Is it thin? How thin is it? I didn't hear if you said it was thin or not.
it, but you don't know it's there. It's real thin.
Is it thin?
There is a serpent. The spirit of the serpent is right there, and you can't see him, but he's right there. The veil is that thin, and
Is it right there? And is it thin?
it's that close, and he's waiting to get in. He's just waiting on the opportunity. This is the fulfillment of all the ages. Either we push it over the top, or the Antichrist comes in early. It's one of the two. And so people say, well, this is not encouraging. It is if you're fighting. You've got to stand in the Spirit. Do you know the power that you and I have in the Spirit? Now,
well, apparently we have the power to speak to God, and he'll give us secret little messages throughout the day while we're talking. And apparently you are required to speak audibly so that God can hear you, because he won't hear you if you don't speak audibly into the microphone, I guess, right? Everybody tells me I can't imagine how thin it is. Folks, it's so thin you wouldn't believe it. Bigly thin, right? You know, when I first heard Trump say bigly, I realized that actually he's saying big league, B-I-G space L-E-A-G-U-E, like big league chew. I used to say that when I was little, like really little. I said big league all the time. I guess it was kind of a common saying or something. Anyway, yeah, that's what he's saying. It's not as weird when you realize, or, you know, where that came from originally. I like the Notre Dame depiction with Lilith as Naga. I'll take strong, independent snake lady over snake with legs, right? Lilith, yeah, I assume you're talking about Lilith. Yeah, I did a bunch of reading about Lilith and who Lilith was. It's just from some old stories. And she was a character that was chased, I believe, by God or something. I don't remember now. Anyway, it's really interesting.
If you think that this is not a spiritual occultic war, this is why you don't pick up guns and try to go change the nation.
Okay, well, I appreciate him saying that, because not everybody thinks that on his side.
It's changed in the world of the spirit. It's either won or lost there. In the days inside us, where we are as the church. When Adam...
Dude, he's not making any sense, right? And he's pretending that God is, like, speaking to him or whatever, giving him information.
When Adam...
Let's step back like 30 seconds and listen to his entire thing here.
There. In the days inside us, where we are as the church. When Adam...
So he's pretending to get a message from God, I guess?
When Adam would go into a worship in the cool of the day, the King James calls it the cool of the day.
Why would God need the King James version? Why would he even specify the King James version? Is it a message from God or not?
In Hebrew, it says he would go into a prophetic, euphoric worship. He would start worshiping prophetically according to the destiny that it was ahead of him. He could see all the way through time to a place where God's plan was fulfilled. And he was going to replenish the earth and subdue it, and he would worship according to his destiny. And in that time, the Lord would come to him in that time, and they would walk together in this destiny. And he would speak to him about it. And he would talk to him about an event that he had to fight.
Dude, what is he talking about right now? I'm lost.
And put down. Now, you talk about it sounding negative.
Who's talking about what being negative? What?
This is God talking to him. He says, you have dominion. You subdue the earth. You have dominion over the earth, over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air. What is he telling him? He's saying, in this perfect world, there's something you've got to put down. Now, Steve, what was it? Why in a perfect world did he tell him to subdue?
Brother, I am so lost. It's not even funny. What is he going on about right now?
Subdue it. It means put it under your feet.
Yeah.
Put what under your feet? It is a plan. that the enemy is trying to bring to pass. The seed of
Okay, this is supposed to be a message from God, remember. I am so lost right now.
the serpent being pushed into the earth. Now, I talk about this and I harp on this and I harp on this, but I've only got about 25 days left to do it.
Oh, before the election, right? So this is a little while ago.
Yeah.
Before everybody votes. We see the top echelons of power come into play. And if you think this is ending, it's just heating up. We see the top echelons of the spirit world working with top officials, the WEF. We watched as a shaman witch was brought on the stage of the WEF and coughing and spitting on them.
Bro, what are you talking about right now? A shaman witch was on the WEF stage? What? I talked about this last time, but so I'm not going to talk about it at length again. But the World Economic Forum is just an organization that helps rich people direct their money to the most beneficial areas that they could put it toward. Like if there's a pandemic spreading, if there's an epidemic of polio somewhere, then they will tell them they need $50 million. And Bill Gates and George Soros and everybody will get together. They'll pool $50 million. They'll put it towards this epidemic and they'll solve it. That's what the WEF is for. It's a UN recognized non-government organization, I believe. And they are the center of a conspiracy theory called the Great Reset because they said this is our opportunity during COVID to reset the world economies to be more beneficial to the rich. I'm sorry, to be more beneficial to the poor, to help the poor. And suddenly the filthy rich are finding conspiracy theories behind every corner with this organization. Anyway, that's what the WEF is, and it's the center of the Great Reset conspiracy, which Robin Bullock is apparently obsessed with.
That's really something to do in a world of COVID, isn't it?
Oh, step back a little bit here.
Spirit world working with top officials, the WEF. We watched as a shaman witch was brought on the stage of the WEF and coughing and spitting on them.
Okay, I don't know what he's talking about here.
That's really something to do in a world of COVID, isn't it? They're the very ones that push the mask and push all this, and yet they're
the WEF pushed the mask and stuff. What? I think that was doctors. But I suppose that Robin Bullock believes that doctors are in cahoots with the WEF. Am I reading this correctly? Oh my God, man.
letting some shaman witch spit on them.
I gotta look this up. Spits on WEF. Okay, I think I've found it. Yes, okay, I got it. The WEF, the World Economic Forum, they invited an indigenous leader to speak as just like a guest speaker at the WEF, an indigenous leader. And I guess she coughed when she was up there. So Robin Bullock translates that into, if you're indigenous, then you are a shaman witch. And if you cough, you are hacking and spitting on them. Alrighty. Thank you, Robin. I'm trying to build my vengeance gauge here. That's why I'm blocking.
Breathe on them. Think about that just a minute. And they're leaning into her face. No mask. And this is supposed to be in the world where disease is rampant.
Oh my God, dude. So people are wearing masks for protection, right? They're trying to protect themselves from illness, from a pandemic. And when they stop wearing masks, so Robin Bullock complains when they do wear masks, and now he's complaining when they don't wear masks. Well, what can they do correctly? What can they do right? What can I do right? Should I wear a mask or not, Robin? Everything that his political enemies do is a sign from God. Literally everything.
But they're letting this happen. Then you see CERN doing what it's doing.
Oh my God, CERN. Conspiracy about CERN exists because it's just like that big oh my God, the big particle accelerator, It's a particle accelerator in Switzerland, I think. Is it Switzerland? I believe it is. And they were gifted a bunch of things by different countries. CERN was. Is this gigantic multi-billion-dollar project that was built, and they discovered the Higgs boson through their experiments with particle accelerators. Anyway, It was a big deal, and everybody was like super happy about it and proud of CERN for coming up with all this. And they were gifted a bunch of things. One of the things they were gifted was a statue of Shiva from India. And Shiva is like the destroyer, I guess, the god of destruction or whatever the hell it is. CERN put the statue of Shiva up, and they were super like proud of it and happy that they had it and so on. And I guess that was taken by like conspiracy theorists like this dude as evidence that CERN is working for Satan or some shit.
Then you see the Gothard Tunnel dedicated with the ceremony of Pan right before the pandemic happened.
Oh my God, dude. Pan. See, Pan is like some old mystical god or whatever, and Pan is the first syllable in the word pandemic. Are you catching this? Anybody else seeing the coincidences?
Then you see all of this stuff happening. Well, now this is not anything new. It keeps going. We get to Paris. Paris starts the Olympics, and you see the white horse of the apocalypse riding across the ocean.
Oh no. The Olympics thing, God, he is just in conspiracy land today, isn't he?
With the flowing garment behind them. They get there. And when they get there, the first thing they do is blaspheme the Last Supper.
That is not what happened. Oh my God. I can't play an audio clip, or I'm sorry, I can't play the video clip of it because they copyrighted it and they're like ridiculous about enforcing their copyright. But it was just, look, I'll show a picture. If you guys, I'm just trying to run down all these conspiracy theories as we go. They sang a French song, I believe, so even playing the audio would be pointless because, you know, I don't understand French. But this is a depiction of the Greek gods, not the Last Supper, the Greek gods. Because, you know, it's the Olympics, Greece. They came up with the Olympics, didn't they? And right-wing Bible nutcases are basically convinced that they were blaspheming the Last Supper, and this is like the global cabal, or cable, as Marjorie Taylor Greene says, trying to get one over on Christians, good, honest, innocent, decent Christians who are just trying to live their lives, whatever other shit. Oh my God, dude. These people are just, they're gone. Like, their minds are shot. You know, one more time, Robin.
With the flowing garment behind them. They get there. And when they get there, the first thing they do is blaspheme the Last Supper with a table full of transgenders and some guy, blue guy with a diaper laying in the middle.
Jagoff, that was a Greek god. You realize that there are other cultures and other lore and other like mystical beliefs and stuff other than your stupid fucking beliefs, right? Do you realize that? Are you aware of that? That you're not the only person on planet Earth? These people are jokes. They are jokes of human beings, dude. Really.
Middle of the table. And they're sinning in every indulgence they can, portraying Jesus.
They were Greek gods.
And his disciples. We see it open with that. France. But then we see transgenders going into competition in the Olympics. Then we see
Wait, which trans people competed in the Olympics? I don't remember any trans people competing in the Olympics. Did that happen? Yeah, nobody competed in the Olympics that was trans. What are you talking about? I know what he's talking about. I'll tell you. He's talking about that biologically female fighter, the boxer, who was fighting in the women's league, but he believed that her punch was too strong to be a woman, so he's calling her trans for that reason. He's a transvestigator, if you will. This is like deeply, truly disgusting shit right here. These people are shameless, bigoted scumbags, honestly. I don't know what else to call this. This is disgusting. These people are disgusting.
The closing ceremony where the piano's turned upside down and they begin to play the hymn of Apollo. And while they're playing this hymn...
Oh no, not Apollo. Oh my God, that's a god that is connected to, is it Greek culture? I thought it was Roman culture. I guess probably Greek. That's a god connected to Greek culture instead of Christianity. That's unacceptable. We cannot have that, right? Everything has to be Christian. All of it must be Christian, or it's satanic. This is insane, bro. This is nuts. Also, I faced this problem a lot in my book about World War II. It's just released, by the way. You can find it on my website, owenmorgan.com, or on Amazon. Was Hitler an Atheist is the name of the book. Anyway, I faced this a lot. Like, people called the Nazi movement a pagan movement or an occultic movement or whatever. And it wasn't, as a matter of fact. It was not pagan or occultic. But what does that mean anyway, exactly? What do you mean when you say occultic or pagan? What I believe what I think these people are talking about, or more specifically, what I think the German, like the Catholic Church was talking about when they criticized Germany for being occultic or for being pagan. I mean, what I think they were talking about was they followed or believed in or appreciated the Norse gods, Odin and Thor and whoever else. Loki was one of them, I believe. Some of them believed in those gods. Some people, not very many. It was like 0.5% of the country or something. And the other group of people were the occultists, but I don't even know what occultist means in this context. What does he mean by occult? Does that mean like they practice magic, or because Hitler didn't do that? He wasn't an occultist. He wasn't a pagan. I don't know what that even means, truthfully. I don't know. So when Robin Bullock says occult, what is he talking about exactly?
Of Apollo, this golden creature comes down and meets the guy on the white horse and lets these hordes loose that raise a portal out of hell.
Oh my God, again with the portal.
And hang it up in the Olympic rings. And the scripture said, in the Greek, his name is Apollo, and that was a Grecian games called the Olympics. Then on top of all of that,
on top of that, that's some kind of a something. Like, yes, it was a Greek game, the Olympics. Are you shitting me?
You start seeing this hurricane form that everybody says is man-made.
Everybody? Who is everybody? Who told you this is man-made, bro? This guy needs help. Really. This guy needs help. This is insane.
They start talking about being man-made. It's more man-made than they realize. It happened bigger than they think, because I'm not at liberty to say till I have the facts.
But he'll say anything else without the facts. Okay, go on.
But it was brought to my attention last night that 2 years ago, there was a big fashion show where people trudged through the mud and mudslides and everything. And it looked like kind of that event.
Wait, so he says, I'm not at liberty to say, but I'm going to say it anyway? Is that what's happening right now? And okay, they have weird fashion shows. Is this even real? Did this really happen? I don't know. This guy lies for a living. But so what? Okay, some people trudge through the mud. I don't understand.
And then it looked like zombies walking through it. And then watch this. Then you see, what is the last hurricane? Was it
Milton?
Was that
Milton,
his name?
yeah.
Wasn't that what they call?
Milton.
Yeah. Did you see the eye of it? Did you see the eye of that hurricane?
Yeah, I mean,
Did you
I
see
think
what
so.
it looks like?
No, I didn't see what it looks like.
Oh, if they had a picture of that. Oh, if they had a picture of that, they.
Brother, get help. This is the point at which your family members should be discussing what next steps are for you. Like, are they going to send you to an institution, or should they get you into therapy, like outpatient, or what? This is insane. I don't even know what to call this. Schmoobligong? That feels close, but not quite right. I don't know what word describes this.
They ought to put it up. It's a demon from hell, and you can see it, the whole face of the profile of this thing. And they gave it a name. But get this, all at once, for no reason.
Wait, they gave the eye of the hurricane a name? I thought they just named the hurricane Hurricane Milton. No?
See it, the whole face of the profile of this thing. And they gave it a name. But get this, all at once, for no reason, this thing had a mind of its own. And the Hurricane Helen was first. Then this thing comes along and crosses it the other direction.
Hurricane Helen? I didn't hear about Helen.
Has a mind of its own. But here's what they did. Suddenly we find out that the plane that goes up and flies into the eye of the hurricane, They took the ashes of a dead man and poured it into the eye of the hurricane.
What? Who did this? And where did he get this information? Brother, you need to get help, really. Like, this is a problem now that you need to resolve.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. I would love to think he is, but I don't believe he is.
They offered it a sacrifice. They offered it the ashes of a man. Put it in the eye of that thing.
The eye of the hurricane. You telling me somebody flew to the eye of the hurricane in an airplane and dropped ashes into it as a sacrifice to a god or something? This is too much, man. I'm sorry. This is too much.
They said, "Oh, he was a meteorologist and he chased these hurricanes and they took." No, yeah, that's not the one.
No, that one doesn't have that one is not photoshopped the way that I wanted mine to be. Hold on. Eye of Hurricane Milton ashes drop. Okay, I see. Renowned scientist ashes dropped into the eye of Category 5 Hurricane Milton as lasting tribute. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. As an award-winning scientist, Peter Dodge had made hundreds of flights into the eyes of hurricanes, almost 400. Wow, damn. On Tuesday, a crew on a reconnaissance flight into Hurricane Milton helped him make one more, dropping his ashes into the storm as a lasting tribute to the longtime National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration radar specialist and researcher. Wow, NOAA, interesting. NOAA, I think. It's very touching, Dodge's sister, Shelley Dodge, said in an interview Thursday with the Associated Press. We knew it was a goal of NOAA to make it happen. The ashes were released into the eye of the hurricane Tuesday night, less than 24 hours before Milton made landfall in Siesta Key near Sarasota, Florida. An in-flight observations log, which charts information such as positions and wind speed, ended with a reference to Dodge's 387th and final flight. He's loved that aspect of his job, Shelley Dodge said. It's bittersweet. On one hand, a hurricane's coming, and you don't want that for people. On the other hand, I really wanted this to happen. Well, I would say he spent his life trying to track hurricanes to protect people from their devastation adequately. And he's visiting one more. So his life is a testament to helping protect people from the hurricane, right? That's how I view it personally. But okay. Anyway, I guess this hurricane picture doesn't adequately show the ridiculous bullshit he's trying to show, so he wants another. And also, yeah, that whole ashes in the hurricane thing, that wasn't a sacrifice to a hurricane or whatever. It's just a dude being honored. Oh my God, get help.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
And this guy's huffing and puffing over here, of course.
They offered it a sacrifice. They offered it the ashes of a man. Put it in the eye of that thing. They said, "Oh, he was a meteorologist and he chased these hurricanes and they took." No, yeah, that's not the one.
It's more of a close-up one.
Oh my good. Oh, it's not. Oh, if you can find it.
Was it a much closer view? It was a closer picture of the eye.
Like, is it weird to anybody else that you have to find a very specific picture, very specific angle for this to make any sense at all? Otherwise, it's just complete nonsense. Is that weird or?
And it was on radar. It wasn't anything like that. That's something, but we don't have time to get into it. But when you see it, then
I want to know what he's talking about. What is it? A face? Hurricane Milton face radar. So this is the image that he's talking about. Do you see a face or whatever? It looks like it's just like a storm. It's just a storm. But if you look real close, I suppose you can kind of see like there's a little bit like of a mouth here and maybe kind of a misshapen nose, I suppose, a little bit. And then like a head or a skull or something and like some hair. I don't know. I think that's what he's talking about. It's a hurricane, bro. Get help, really. Oh my God.
Radar. It wasn't anything like that. That's something, but we don't have time to get into it. But when you see it.
That's something, he says. That's something. No, it wasn't. It was a picture of a hurricane.